Hello, thank you for joining me for Digital Collections Bootcamp this afternoon. This is Sarah from the Mount Airy branch of the Carroll County Public Library. Today we will be talking about home improvement. Home improvement resources can be found by hovering over Collections and then under the Digital Collections area, clicking the link for online research databases. Currently, we have one database that houses online research about home improvement. If you scroll down, we'll look for the category under Do It Yourself, and you'll see Gale OneFile Home Improvement. We're going to click that link, and that will open the Gale OneFile database for home improvement, and that's what we'll be taking a look at today. If you've used any of the other Gale OneFile databases available from CCPL in the past, you'll notice that the Home Improvement database functions a lot like those as well. However, if you haven't, here's a great way to do an overview of the different search tools that are available. Today we're going to be searching on the topic of landscape design. So of course the first kind of searching you can do is just a big subject search here at the top in the main search bar. For instance, if you know exactly what you're looking for, this is a great place to start. So I'm going to start with our topic of landscape design and type that in, and you'll see as I type that in there's some different ideas that come through, but I'm just going to go ahead and search on just that term and see what kind of results we get. And then the results are presented and they're grouped here, as you can see at the top, by the type of or the format of the resource that we have available. So here are going to be magazine articles, articles from academic journals, news items, images, and also videos. So for instance, we've got a picture here, First Lady Hosts Design Award recipients in Washington. If I click on that, then I can take a look at that resource, and there's a little caption here to explain it as well as the citation. So that's kind of a first pass, very broad search that you can do with the main search bar. Underneath are some really cool search tools that are available for home improvement items. So for instance, there's this topic finder. The topic finder is really cool because it's a visual way to sort of not only see the results you've got, but also see how they relate in terms of the number of results and a subset or a subcategory of that topic, how many results you get for the subtopics within. So let me type in landscape design and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. It'll take just a second because it's going to create this really cool, almost like puzzle piece look for us. And you can see under landscape design, then there's all these different subcategories of information that exists in this database. So I've got anything from the landscaping industry to urban design to outdoor living to gardens to landscape architects. So it's such a wide variety just typing in that one term. You can also visualize these results as tiles and also as a wheel. So if you're a visual learner like me, this visualization tool is it's really cool. It gives you a great feel for what kind of information is out there, and if you're starting to plan a topic search, or say you're planning a home improvement project, now that we can be outside more with some nicer warm albeit humid days, if you're planning an outdoor project, this is a great way to get some information. So on that note, I'm going to explore the topic of gardens. And you'll see when I click garden, then I get even more subtopics under that. So the hotter, more red, oranges, those are going to have more results and deeper content than some of the greens and the lighter colors. And you'll see once I click in here, then I've got 47 results for garden within landscaping design. And let's see, a yard becomes a garden. So this might be something that I'm going to want to check out because it's about backyard gardens and landscape architecture. So if I'm looking to really snazz up my backyard, this might be something I want to do. So you'll see that it's a House Beautiful article And then there's citation information down here as well. And then once I get the information here, you can always explore and see what else is available in this other similar topic and then related topics as well. But we're going to go back to Topic Finder really quick. And that will take me back to the last subject that I worked on. So that's a good thing to know. So, here's high-tech gardening, step-by-step landscape design. This might be really great. And here's a really nice, deep article, but you'll see the author and publication dates here at the top, where it's from, and then what kind of document it is, and the length of that document. And some of the cool things you can do once you've found a resource is if I'm interested in this, I can highlight this. So let's see if I want to say, here's the basics of landscape design are as easy as 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3 is have a plan, choose a focal point, then add plants while considering their size, texture, and color. So if I'm like, wow, that's a really great idea, I want to keep that in mind, you can actually hover over it, select it, and then highlight it. So if I click highlight, I can pick the color I want, so I'm going to make it purple. I can add notes, so steps to landscape design might be a note that I want to save for myself. I can save that. If there were any topics in here, if there were any words that I weren't sure what they were, I could also define those words. So if I wasn't sure what shrubbery meant, I could highlight that, click define, and it'll actually give me the Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition of shrubbery. So that's good to keep in mind if you're working on a home improvement project or you're starting getting involved in construction or something like that, that there's terms you're maybe not quite familiar with. You can use that definition tool in that way. Also, if this is something that I'd like to keep in mind and remember for next time, I can click send to, and that means that I can email a link to this article to myself, or if I had OneDrive or Google Drive open, I could also save it there. I can download it as a PDF, and then I'll have a copy of it. I can print it, or I can get a link to it. So this is going to be a static link to this document, to this resource that I can go back and review later. So I like to use either the sending to email or the get a link, just because it enables me to sort of create a Word document where I can put all the different links, look at all the different resources I found, and then go through later and sort of comb through them and pick the specific ones that I find most useful. And if for some reason you were working on this and you needed to cite the articles, you can click Cite and it'll give you the citation information in MLA, APA, and Chicago. So that's a really great way to get some information and to keep track and not forget. We're going to go back to the main page here, and we will do a subject guide search. So I want you to see how landscape design is going to look a little different. Same search criteria, same search term, but the search results are going to look different. So the first thing you'll notice is that when I see landscape design, it'll have these different subdivisions or subcategories. By clicking the arrow, I can see the subcategories under this topic. The first thing it directs us to is to say see landscape architecture. So this kind of search looks a lot like an index. If I click landscape in architecture, and then I click down into the subdivisions, you'll see there's all different kinds of subtopics under landscape architecture. So just a few minutes ago we were looking at garden information, or how to set up a really cool landscape architecture related garden. So I'm going to go to design and construction, just to sort of narrow down where I think I might be finding something about creating really super cool gardens. And then here on the right hand side I've got filter your results. I'm going to hit subjects, and then you'll see down here, here's gardens. So within here I am able to find some resources about gardens under that topic. And here's an article here from Sunset Magazine, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. and I'll have the article, and I can share it and do those highlights and notes and everything like I had before. If you want to get back to the highlights that you might have already put in, you can click highlights and notes. This will show you, I don't have any highlights for this specific article, but if I click view all highlights and notes, it'll show me the highlights I have entered in the past. So this is that other step-by-step landscape design article that we looked at before, and here was where I highlighted 1, 2, 3, have a plan, choose a focal point, then add plants while considering their size, texture, and color, and you'll see the note that I had added. So the important thing to remember with adding highlights and notes is that these only stay during the session that you're working on the database. So if you close your browser, you close your session and then come back later, you're not going to have your highlights and notes. So before you're done researching for the day, make sure to either send to, so email the list of your highlights to yourself so that you've got the resources, or download or print a list. You don't want to lose all the hard work. And here's the bibliography down here. You'll have the information, and you'll see in the bibliography information it shows this is the original publication that it was in. So it was in a magazine, a Flower and Garden magazine, volume 40, issue 5, and then the year and page 32 plus, and then here will be the information about where it came from within the Gale OneFile home improvement database. So that's a great way to use those highlights and notes and keep track of your resources and your bibliography of where they're coming from, especially if you're doing this for, say, a tech ed project for school, or something where you need to be able, or an architecture class, and you need to be able to show where you're getting these resources from for the research that you're doing. So this database is pretty cool because you can use it both as a professional resource, as an amateur resource, and as a study tool for those learning about home improvement related subjects. So if you're just beginning to delve into the world of home improvement, or there's something new you've been learning about and you're not really sure what kind of magazines or journals might be a good source for you to sort of keep an eye on, there is also a final type of search here from the main page called the publication search. Now the publication search is pretty cool. Keep in mind here, this search field is doing a search on the names of the publication, so the name of the magazine. But if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what magazines I'd like to look at, that's what I need help with. If you click list all publications, this will show all the publications that have information within this database. But then you can also limit the subject of the publications that you're looking at, so you can get a better idea of what magazines to sort of keep an eye on. So under publication subject, there is one called General and Consumer Interests. So let's say I just want to find a casual magazine that I can read at home to give me some more information about home improvement projects. I'll put that subject in, general and consumer interests, and then for target audience, I'm going to click general. So these are magazines or publications that are geared towards a more general audience. So you'll see there's some familiar magazines coming through here that you might recognize: Better Homes and Gardens, Family Circle, Good Housekeeping, Log Home Living, New Old House Journal. So as you'll see, this is going to give us ideas about some publications you might want to explore if you're interested in just general consumer interests associated with home improvement, and just for something to check out. So for instance, if I want to learn more about Better Homes and Gardens, I just click on that title there, and it'll tell us in this database, these are the years of the articles that you're going to find. And here's a brief description of what kind of content is usually in that publication. So this is a great way to get ideas for magazines that you might want to check out in the future. So there's also one more kind of search kind of tucked away down in here. Once you get comfortable with searching, this is what I would give it a try, and that's advanced search. So if I click advanced search, basically what it's going to do, it's going to allow me to enter more than one criteria for searching. So I can put in more than one type of information that I want to search on. So we've been looking at landscape design, so I'm going to first go back to our good old topic of landscape design, and I'm going to say that I want to search for that in keyword. You'll see if I drill down here, there's all kinds of different information. I can search by subject, I can search by place name if I was looking for home improvement information in, say, the Bay Area of San Francisco, things like that. So I'm going to search for landscape design, and I actually know that a publication that there's going to be information about this landscape design, particularly like the gardens we were talking about earlier, is called Sunset. That's a magazine. I know that usually has that kind of information. So I'll say, and Sunset in publication title, and go ahead and click search. So basically the advanced search is just allows me to sort of narrow down my information even a little further. And then even from there, I can filter it even more. But here's just some different articles about landscape design that have appeared in Sunset Magazine. So here's Let Your Garden Go Wild. Use nature's untamed beauty to inspire your landscape design. So I'm going to click on that. I'll be able to read the article. This one also includes a picture, so that's pretty cool. I've got some images here to give me ideas for designing my backyard garden. And if I want to, I can send it. I'd be on my way. So that's a really good way to keep an eye on information. If I want to see new information from Sunset as it is added about landscape design, I can create what's called a search alert. And what the search alert will do is it will enable me to have the system send me either an email, or if I use an RSS feed type of software, to notify me by email or an RSS feed when new articles are added to this database from Sunset about landscape design. So that's what, if you have a topic you want to keep an eye on, if you're starting to research a backyard project or a home expansion, or you're in an architecture class and you're going to be talking about certain types of building or design later, if you set up a search alert, then as new materials are added, you can keep on top of that new materials as well. So that's a really great feature. So that's Gale OneFile Home Improvement. There's lots of different information here. Poke around, see what you find interesting, and hopefully it'll help you get started and continue on your next project. Thanks.